It has begun!
Hey everybody, how are you doing today? I'm doing awesome. Love it. And I had just put up the other day about how I was worried that the lawsuit with Victor Miller and Shotted Cunningham, how it is going to be opening the floodgates for the rest of the screenwriters start coming out. Well, it ain't even been 24 hours and here we go. So let's just get started with this. And plus, Illfonic may be in some trouble too again, just like they were Friday the 13th, but I'll show that at the end. So, over on the Hollywood Reporter today, at around 11:37 this morning, this came out about Terminator. Major studio faces some losses. And you always think Terminator, you think James Cameron. Well, he was not the original writer, apparently. Miss Gail Ann Hurd was, and let me show you who that is. So over here, Gail Ann Hurd, American film producer. And she's credited with the movies Terminator. She did Terminator 2, apparently, The Abyss, Aliens, a lot of it with James Cameron, I noticed. And maybe it's because it says right there her spouse was James Cameron from 1985 to 1989. So, yeah, they knew each other intimately. So back over at the article, second paragraph, and as a result, per records filed at the Copyright Office, David Elson Skydance Media, which acquired the rights from his sister Megan Elson, who bought them for $20 million in 2011 at auction, he could lose his rights to make another Terminator movie coming next year in 2020. And I was like, holy shit. But he said he's got a deal with James Cameron, and that's what he thinks. He's going to keep making films. Well, if this goes forward, he might have a little speed bump in the way, which okay then. Another one here, talking about Beetlejuice is coming up. That might be an issue. One I forgot all about was Roger Rabbit. I've not seen another one of those in a while, so hell, that wouldn't give back. At least I can see another Roger Rabbit. And of course, Nightmare on Elm Street. Also Stephen King. A lot of his stuff is coming up. But I thought this part was interesting. During the copyright, through a judge's decision last year confirming the validity of a termination notice sent by Friday 13th screenwriter Victor Miller, certainly raised awareness among authors. The producer of that film is appealing on grounds that Miller's script was penned as a work for hire with no termination rights. So, Sean's trying to say he was a work for hire and you didn't have the rights to terminate the agreement. Which, I don't know, I'm on the fence on that. I'm kind of with Sean on this, but that's my opinion. But, yeah, the floodgates are starting to open. You're going to see a lot more coming out. If you look on down here, see, Larry Zerner was talking about termination 2 years coming out and all that stuff, and he's a copyright lawyer as well. But down here it says intellectual property attorney Mark Toberoff, hope I said that right. He's one that represents Victor Miller. And a growing number of other writers. He keeps careful records about what's coming up for termination and is winning clients and becoming a nuisance for studios based on promises of recapture. He says that in most instances, the prospect of termination will lead the original studio to sit down for talks. So let's make a deal, he says. And that seems to be the case with Terminator. A source explains that Hurd will have a 50-50 ownership split with James Cameron, the original director, who is returning to produce Skydance's Dark Fate. If Skydance wants another film, he'll have to renegotiate back in with the two. Otherwise, another studio will have the opportunity to move forward with the franchise. After publication of this story, Skydance Media responded in a statement. Skydance has a deal in place with James Cameron and controls the rights to the Terminator franchise for the foreseeable future. Hurd had no comment. Hate to hurt your feelings, guys. That's what Gun Media thought too. And you see what happened with them on Friday the 13th. So, yeah, don't get too cocky about that. So, yeah, Victor Miller, attorney's sitting back happy because he's getting all these clients. He said, hey, we're going to get your property back. So, got Hollywood a little rattled. Also on Bloody Disgusting Day, they also reporting on it by Brad Miska, and he's always on top of this stuff. But as he said, the Rights Wars is only just beginning. So, because of the Sean Cunningham Victor Miller event, these guys are just coming out of woodworks. And like I said, this is going to be one hell of a domino effect all the way down. You got to think of how many screenplays have been written by writers. A lot of them never got credit, and now with Victor Miller in his case, and he did win the first one, so, and they probably confident that they'll win this one. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. But yeah, you got a lot more to come. Now, I mean, I don't even think we've seen half of what's fixed to come up. And it's a lot of the 80s ones especially are going to become like Terminator, Wes Craven's there, and a lot of Stephen King's, a lot of his. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Beetlejuice. And what's interesting, if you look down here, Brad Mitzke was talking about, is this good or bad news with all this stuff fixed to come out? And he says, he's always rooting for the artists and are happy the writers are exercising their rights. Also, this is a great opportunity for artists to pluck franchises away from studios who refuse to make more films or rush cheap, half-assed pieces of crap like Dimension Films did for decades. And I know what he's talking about. He's talking about Pinhead. I'm sorry, boy, I'm glad to get that out of their hands, because Hellraiser went to hell. I'm sorry. I mean, after 4, it was still kind of Hellraiser, but after that garbage that came out, and it's garbage. I'm sorry. I don't know what that was about. Good God. Don't make any more of those. Certain films, sure. The rest of them, I don't know. All right, but before I talk about this little guy at the bottom here, and we're going to move on into the next part of this story about Illfonic. Now, Illfonic, if any of you are a fan of Friday the 13th game, and I'm one of them, they and Gun Media are the ones that come out with a game. Good game. A lot of bugs in it. A lot of glitches. A lot of them still never got fixed. Lawsuit come out. Illfonic stayed for a little while, then they moved on. Some people think they'd just get away from the lawsuit, which they couldn't do nothing. But they did leave the game kind of glitchy, and so there's a few in the Friday 13th gaming community kind of ill about that part, but it is what it is. Gun Media West said he had no ill will to them. They did their job and went on. And Black Tower's got it now. But anyway, they moved on. So what did they move on to? Well, believe it or not, these guys have moved over to Predator, and they're making a game, Predator Hunting Grounds. A lot of the similar premises like Friday 13th, open world, survival, such and such. They do have a gameplay clip out, but it is, the best I can describe, it reminds me of cross between Halo and Assassin's Creed. It's about the best I'm going to say about it. And it's still in early stages. I'm kind of on the fence about it. But what's the bad part of this, and it's so bad it's funny to me, is Predator is one of these, might be coming up for copyright reclaim, basically, because they're at their 35-year mark. So, like with Friday 13th, they're making this game. It's supposed to come out next year, I believe, 2020 for PS4, and they may have just stepped in it again because of the copyright law. Damn, talk about bad luck. Holy crap. So they may not even be able to put the game out. That's 100% possible, guys. I hate to say it, it is very possible. Talk about bad luck. And I'm sorry, you just might as well laugh about it, because it's, what are the odds? But yeah, they went for Friday 13th. They got in all this trouble with the copyright law, and I'll be damn, turn around now, Predators might be on the list. Damn, Illfonic, y'all had some bad luck. But anyways, that's what's going on. Like I said, the floodgates are open, and I just expect to see a lot more. And I'd almost bet wait for television to come up, because that, you can't tell me television won't be included in part of this. It probably will. And so this thing with Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham, yeah, it's a lot bigger than just Friday 13th. And it's going to affect a lot of things. Moving forward, Hollywood may Are they going to stop hiring screenwriters? Are they going to negotiate new deals? Or are they just going to do stuff out of the United States so they don't have to worry about the law? I don't know. I don't know how that law works. But I guarantee you Hollywood's not just going to sit back and say, okay, fine. There's something they're going to do. How it affects our movies and our, icons that we like to go and watch, we'll just have to wait and see, guys. All right, that's the end of this, and I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a good night.